In this video, I am opening up the remaining of the palm structures in this part 2 version of Did My Palms Survive the Winter? So follow me on this and let's see what happens, and I'm hoping for the very, very best. Let's hope they all survived. So hi everyone, it's Tim. Thanks for coming back. So as you heard in the intro, I am going to open up the biggies, the big palms, which I did not do in my last video. I may show a couple of the ones you saw before just because I wanted to open them up even more. But the sun is out. It is finally above freezing, which is why I did not open up the other ones before, because it was just too difficult and too cold. And I'm just happy that I'm getting about 3 days of good weather in New York. And then we get cold again, but at least it's a glimpse of spring. And I know everyone in Europe is celebrating spring and I'm here freezing to death, but it's actually pretty good outside today and the snow is starting to melt. The pool is still completely frozen over, as you can see, but I do see a little bit of sign of spring, which I've been waiting for so long. So in this video, I'm gonna open up some palms. Let's hope they're all alive. I'm very nervous about it because it was so cold. I'm gonna open the Bouganvillea, which I already know got fried a little bit in the first cold. And so I don't know. I think that's gonna be a wait and see, because I know it's gonna be fried when I open it up, but I'm hoping they're still alive. I did not have enough lights on it. And a couple of you asked if you could see the dogs. I love all of you are palm and plant people, but you want to see the dogs. So I'm going to introduce the dogs. I think you've seen the parrots, but maybe I'll throw the parrots in here too. It's early in the week, but I'm going to do a little bit every day. And hopefully by the time I'm showing you this on Thursday, I'm out here in a t-shirt. That's my goal. I'm hoping. It's still a little cool out here, but it's not freezing. I can see my breath, but it's promising. So we will see what happens. So please like and subscribe, ask questions. On the last video, I got a lot of interaction, was great. Someone pointed out, one of my friends in Western New York, that once you comment and I comment back, you don't always get an alert that I comment back. So you might have, if you felt like you commented and you wanted an answer, you might have to go back and check, because he said he gets no alerts that I commented back to him. I do, but just in case, you might want to look and see. And some people have been making some great comments and adding what they're doing with their palms and everything. So, or agreeing that the same bad thing's happening to them, or they don't understand why it's happening to me, which that's probably more the case. But anyway, let's fingers crossed here. Let's hope everything looks good and everything comes through today. So let's start right off with my large Washingtonia robusta, because the ladder is right there, and there you can see all the damage from the evil woodpecker and the tape I had to put up there to scare it away. Hopefully it's not around right now. And down here, I never show my needle palms, and it was down to -9 Fahrenheit, about -22 Celsius this year. And I did not cover them in any way. I have 2 of them. I've had some issues with new ones, but once they're established, they do really well. But let's hope this this is the one I had to add on to the structure to make it tall enough, because it is very tall. That's a really tall ladder there. So going up the ladder here, and I'm going to unscrew all these things, but it's always just such a nice view from up here. I always love when the ice is still on the river and all my palm boxes out there, but just happy to have some sun coming down on me today. But let's get this palm opened up. Okay, I have the screws off, or undone, and I wanted to get this on video as I open it up here, but there's just me and one hand and the camera. So I'm gonna see if I can wedge this open, and I think I see green. So I'm gonna pull this off without holding the camera and then reveal, but I'm feeling pretty good about this one. And we have success. I'm just gonna climb up the ladder and show you. It's looking pretty green in here. I lost one screw, it went flying somewhere. Not quite sure where. Looks like a little bit of fuzz or mold or something right there. Maybe I should spray that a little bit, but it doesn't look bad. I'm gonna climb up here higher. See if you can see down into it. Oh, it's wrapped pretty tight, but usually some of these outside fronds get fried, and as cold as it's been, it's hard to believe that they did not. Like, that's pretty amazing, because it's, if you've been watching my channel, it's been really, really cold. So I'm really happy that this one's doing so great. Everything looks good. So big washi, and this is the one we had to add on to the structure, and at least I've got a little bit of room here. So maybe I'm safe for next year, I hope, because I don't feel like building another one. But pretty happy with this. Yay. All right, one down. So while I'm down here, I don't think I opened up the Sylvestris date palm last time. So let's open up this one and see how it is doing. I'm not too worried about this. This one usually winters really, really well. I will be shocked if I find something different, but let's see. And it did great, as I expected. And I find it funny that most of the palm growers who are growing palms in northern climates are not doing a lot of date palms, and the date palms do great. They do really well, and I think more people should do them. So I'm a big proponent of date palms in cold climates. So here's my Yucca Rostrata, one of them, the other one's over there. But you would laugh if you saw me, because I am standing on top of my Disney fence right now, because I don't feel like grabbing the ladder to open up this Washingtonia robusta over here. And this is one of the ones that I had to fill in with stuff because of the crazy woodpecker that was attacking it. But anyway, I want to show you, nice and green, 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 green. Really happy. So this is one I grew from seed, and it's a good, I would say, maybe 9 feet tall now. And that's the moisture barrier there that slides out, and then up on the roof there. But I'm gonna leave this one open. I'm leaving over there open just because it's not gonna get below freezing tonight. Might as well give them some air for a couple of days while I can. So next up is my Pindo palm. This is the palm tree that completely died. I cut it down at least a foot or two, hoping maybe something will happen. I didn't see anything. I had cannas growing in front of it, and then all of a sudden, at the end of the season 2 years ago, I noticed it had grown back. And so I call it my Lazarus palm, because it came back from the dead. So it is way too short for the structure. And if you see back here, I have wire holding it onto the fence because it is anchored around the palm, but the palm is just not big enough. And I may just open up the bottom half of this one and check it, just because it's just too complicated. This, I was being cheap, are 2 foam boards put together, and that is not ideal. That's rather stupid, but I just didn't feel like buying another. And then the funny thing is, I found an extra one after I put this up, and I was just lazy, and I did not change it out because I'm lazy. Too many things to do this fall, and of course I've already forgotten all the hard work. I'm ready to have spring. So Pindo is looking pretty good. Trying to get in there to show you. It's, like I said, it's overkill. And even though I did the right anchoring thing here, this part of the tree, as you can see, that's just, it's not strong enough to hold the structure up yet. It will be, it's just not ready yet. And hopefully this year it grows a little bit. I'm just happy it's alive. Happy about that. So here's another one I have not checked at all besides the Robusta, which is looking really good, I think. But down here I have a Sabal minor of an unknown variety because, of course, I got it many years ago. I got 3 of them. This is the only one that survived. And I have little tiny Christmas lights on it. So let's open that up. Let's see. So I just have a rose cover above it so it gets a little bit of ventilation. And it looks alive. Definitely looks alive. Well, this thing has grown so little since I got it. Let me get down where you can see it, but you know, it's a survivor. And I haven't put much work into it at all. And hopefully one day maybe it'll get bigger, or it may just stay tiny, tiny the whole time. Who knows? But it's the only one that survived. The other ones just weren't doing well from the time I got them, and it just went on and on and on. But this had tons of snow in it, and usually I come knock it down. And this year it was so frozen in there, I just left it. But it is pretty spectacular. I love this thing, and it's getting really, really wide. I'll show you. I put my foot up here. That's how wide it is. Sorry about my garden jeans there, but it's doing great. Happy with that. So there's my garden shed with my artwork on the doors. I have to finish this door over here. It's more the pool shed than a garden shed, but I kind of use it as both. And over here is my Washingtonia Filifera. And this is the one everyone says, I can't grow here because of the humidity, but this is its second winter it has gone through. Okay, it survived. And it looks about like it did last year when I opened it up. And I'm definitely seeing, I could have, see that light coming through, I could have done a better job on this one. But if you kind of pull the fronds aside, the outer ones look kind of ragged, but it's definitely green. And this is how it was last year when I opened it up. And so I'm pretty happy. I think it made it. And this is the one everybody says, you can't do a Filifera. Let me rephrase that. You can't do a Filifera. That's so hard for me to say. Filifera. But I'm doing it so far. So this is its second winter out here, and it's grown quite a bit. It looked really nice this past summer. So I'm hoping if I can just get it through the next month or two, it should be fine, and hopefully we'll get some nice growth on it this year. So excellent, yay. This one I was worried about. This was definitely one because it does not like humidity and it does not like cold, and I can definitely see I did not do a good job on this one. I need to tape this one up some, especially since we're going to get some more cold, but at least for today it can enjoy being outside some, so with some sun. So this is one of my Trachycarpus that I bought as a Wagnerius online, and it's definitely not a waggy. And if you've watched my videos in the past, when it came in the mail, it's not very old. And the first year I had a spear pull because I basically did with the frost cloth like I do on my normal Trachycarpus. So ever since then I've tried to cover it, but as you can see, it's probably my fastest growing trachy. And everybody has an opinion of what it might be, but it's kind of unsure what it is. And so I've been covering it, and if you remember last year, I had to add on to the structure to make it tall enough because it grew so much last year. So, and looking at this, it's so thrown together because you can see here, that's where the addition basically was added on. And I didn't really have anything to put on the bottom because I ran out of foam board. So I just kind of pulled scraps and put them around the edges. So sometimes you just got to make do. It's not very attractive. It probably would not work for anything other than a trachy because it's not super airtight. But I'm going to open up, and of course I have different screws on this. I think I'm going to open up this side right here and see what's going on with it. And I have very tiny foam board on this. You can see it's like maybe a 1/4 inch. It's not, maybe it could be a 1/2 inch. Maybe it says somewhere in here. I guess it's 1/2 inch. But yeah, not a lot, but we will see what happens. It did fine the year before, but it was a much warmer winter there. It is in good shape, but I'm looking at it even now. I'm thinking if it grows a lot this year, I'm going to be adding on again to the bottom of this. But what I want to point out is it is so warm out here right now. And there's the thermocube. It was inside the box till just seconds ago, which should have been nice and warm. And these lights are still on. I don't like thermocubes. At this point, I think I only have them for my Trachycarpus, like those over there, and on my olive trees. I think for the most part, that's all I have. I've switched to temperature controls for everything else because I just don't trust these things. But I mean, I've used them for years, so I guess I can't say that. They are dependable, but I get bad ones every once in a while that don't come on when it's cold, or they come on and stay on forever, and this one seems to be one of those. So I'm going to check back in here in a little bit as it continues to get warmer and warmer in the sun today and see if it still stays on. But either way, it's alive, and that's what's important here. So the unknown trachy. Yeah, it's just very interesting. It has really long, if you look, this is about with my shoulders here. And that's like half the plant right there. And then the other half of the plant is way, I mean, the fronds are really long on this. I think more than my other trachy. So still, whatever this is. Okay, the Phoenix Roebelenii, the pygmy palm. So that's the tape up there to scare away the woodpecker, which started on this side over here. Let me see if I can zoom in. Just drives me crazy. Yeah, I haven't seen him since the cold, but I'm sure he's probably going to come back. So I would love to open this up on the side with the sun, but because it doesn't look like a big hill there, it's really hard with the ladder there, and I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm just going to do, I think I'm going to do this side right here, because it's easy to get the ladder in there, and just to check on it. As warm as it is out here right now, the ground is still frozen, and maybe that's why my light is still on over there on my Trachycarpus in the thermocube. But I think there's a screw below this screw, and I can't get this out, and I don't want to tear my foam board. And this is overkill. This is when I first bought these. I'm going to put my hand up here. That is too much. You don't need to buy these expensive ones, but I'm going to get in here and show you. It's alive. Yay. It looks good. Everything looks good in here. And you can, if you look down there, it says it is 53 degrees in there on my temperature gauge. And so that's why the light's not on, because it's set to come on, I think, on this one at 42. But the Roebelenii is doing great. If it gets much taller, I am gonna have to build a bigger structure to kind of push that in right under that moisture barrier there. But here's my brace. It's really secure on this one because this one is strong, but maybe I should do another one down there next year just in case there's really bad winds, because I think maybe right there would be a good place. But again, I'm just happy this made it through. Sorry for the noise. It's my arm going against this foam board. I'm sure that sounds horrible on the video, so I apologize. Maybe I'll go over this if it's too bad, the voiceover. But happy with this. I'm just gonna put this one back just because I can't get it off and I don't want it to blow away. So go out here and just screw it back in. But like I said, this is way too much. I have opened up this Washingtonia Robusta last time at the bottom, but I'm gonna open it up from this top side so we can really get a look at it and see how it's doing. This one I bought from a retailer, and it probably came from Florida. In fact, I'm pretty sure it came from Florida. And it just looks a little different than the other Washingtonia Robustas I have. But it's growing, and it's just a really skinny one. So maybe somebody has an opinion on that as well. Maybe it's a hybrid. I don't know, but let's hope it's okay and doing well here. And it's green. I wasn't so worried about this one because this one, the box is pretty secure and it's up by the house, which, believe it or not, that does make a difference. It does stay a little warmer up by the house. And this one's going to look really nice this year, I think, and it's still growing. I may have to be adding on to this as well this year. At some point, obviously, the Washingtonias are going to be too tall for me to contain, and that's going to be some sad, sad days when I have to do that. Just like one of the guys in Tennessee who just had to cut down his mule palm, which was just devastating to me because my mule palm is so tiny. And here's one of my non-hardy pomegranates. I have lights around that under that tarp. And then over here is my hardy pomegranate, which I just cover with frost cloth and a tarp. And here's one of my olive trees. Obviously doing well. I bought these from a company called Logis, and I got them so long ago, probably 16 years ago, and they lived in a little pot, and I would bring them in during the winter, and finally, this is their second winter outside, and obviously they really, putting them in the ground makes all the difference, because now they're really growing, and I think it's probably gonna outgrow this one this year, which is fantastic. And here's the other one. It has grown a lot too. It's not quite as big as the other one, but it wasn't quite as big before either. But odd location. I probably shouldn't have put them here, but it's too late now. This is where they're going to stay. They're near the pond, and I know they like dry, but the pond doesn't really overflow right here. So that is how they're doing. But look, the snow is melting. I'm so happy. I actually see all the stuff I need to do this spring. This hill is always a problem. I don't know if I've talked about that. I have lots of perennials in here, and there's the tree that needs to go. That's a flowering cherry, and I want it gone. So hopefully that will happen very soon. So I know I did this one before. It's my Mediterranean fan palm that I got all the little baby seedlings that are growing inside the house right now from, but I want to open it up and let it breathe. So we might as well look at it. And I've got a couple of days to leave it open, so that's good. So let's check it out. And it looks good as well. It's kind of nice and green. What I do find with the Mediterranean fan palms that they get a little bit of, I don't know if it's mold or they get this weird kind of dust on them in the wintertime. And you can kind of see that right in here a little bit. And if you, I don't know what that's from. Maybe I need to spray with fungicide a little bit more in the fall when I close them up, but haven't had a problem, but something I noticed. So while I'm over here by this palm, I'm gonna open up my baby Trachycarpus bed that I did because I have so many and I hate overwintering them inside because then I have to take care of them the whole time. So I just put them out here and put a tarp and Christmas lights over it. So I'm gonna open this up and see what this looks like. So you can see I put foam board down on top, and that really wasn't to insulate it. It was more to just keep the tarp from caving in. And then in the middle of this, I have a Musa Bastiu, a banana, in that trash can that I covered up there. So that helped keep the tarp up too, but that has nothing to do with the Trachycarpus I'm about to show you. So it looks like they could definitely use some water because they're in pots and just put into the ground. But for the most part, I think I got a lot of green in here and they have survived. So that's a really good thing. And I didn't have to mess with them much over the winter. I think there's a couple of date palms in here. I'll have to check and see if I can find them. But definitely saved some baby palms that hopefully will come back and thrive. And that was easier than taking them inside and finding space for them in the garage. And checking back over here, as the snow is melting and it's nice and warm out, this thermocube is still telling this plant telling the lights that they should be on. So definitely another failed thermocube, which they just drive me crazy. Okay, dog break before we go to my Canary Island date. This is Evita. She's about 12 or 13 years old. I can't even remember. She's a rescue dog. She was advertised as a puppy as a Chihuahua Pomeranian mix. As you can see, she is not that. I think she's got some border collie in her. She loves to kill groundhogs, and despite having so much land, this dog will escape the deer fence at any time she can. She's always wanting to get out, and she loves being outside when the weather is bad, and when it's nice, she wants to be inside. She's a crazy dog. And now my Canary Island date palm. So this is the one that's by the pond that I am going to move this spring. It's going to be very stressful. And I think it overwintered well, but I have not seen it since November. Okay, so this is a moment of truth here. And I'm a little nervous because this is one of my favorite palms, but I'm going to try to wedge this open. Oh no, here, I'm gonna see it. Okay, so here we go. Let's hope there is an alive Canary Island date palm in here. Please be alive. I love this palm. All right, here we go. Please see green. Oh my God, yes. Thank God, yes. It is alive. It looks pretty good. Yay, 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 yay. Okay, I'm a happy man. Hi there, old friend. It's really good to see you after all this time. I haven't seen this since November. I'm climbing up on the ladder. Yay. It is I can't even tell you, it is such a relief when you open up a palm box that you have not had open in a while and you discover it is alive. So, and it's alive, and I actually see some light coming through down there from the sun, if you see right there, which means there is a crack on the side. So even with as cold as it's been in New York, that just shows it doesn't always have to be super airtight, but it definitely has some light coming in. So I need to probably address that, but that still, it's alive. Thank goodness. Yay. Very, very happy. A success story. That's a good one. So this has been in the ground for maybe 5 years, I believe, but it's too close to my pond that you can see there. And so this year I'm going to move it, and I'm up on my ladder so I can do that. But yeah, I'm going to move it this year. And here's my Jubaea. You've seen this before, but since I have the ladder out here, I thought I would show you. And yeah, it's a little mashed up at the top, but it is looking good. This one, at least I can keep an eye on. So, because it's got the plastic there, and I do ventilate the top because of the plastic back here. But looking good, happy with this. So let's take a look at the Bouganvillea. And as I said before, I made a big mistake with the Bouganvillea. Last year I had one set of lights on them, and they did just fine. They grew a lot last year. And unfortunately in December, I was really caught off guard by the super low temp that we got very, very quickly. And you can see through here, it got fried. And I don't know how low it got in there because the lights were on, but it just wasn't enough to keep it nice and warm. So I'm hoping when I open this up that I at least see some sign of life, or it often with Bougainvillea, the leaves will die off and then they will come back. And that's what I'm hoping for this spring, and maybe it will still happen, but I just want to get a look at it to see how bad it is. And obviously if it's gone this year, I have to do something completely different. I added more lights. I need to do more than that this year. I need to secure this better. But if I do that, my goal here was to let it grow up along the pole of the patio, but it's really difficult to get the structure underneath the patio. I need to move it out some, which I will be doing if this one doesn't make it, which is sad because it grew so much last year. And it's not good. I'm not even opening it up all the way because I'm just going to show you. It is basically toast. I'm just hoping the leaves will fall off and maybe it will come back, or maybe it will come back at the base. So I failed here, and it did so well over winter last year, but epic failure here, but it was really my fault. I just didn't have enough lights on it, and it got super, super cold, unlike last year, which was so much better than this year. So very sad because they were beautiful last year. I may be buying a couple more this year to try again and do it right. So you learn from your failures. That's what's got to happen. If you watch some of my old videos, well, as I showed you here, this is my big washi that I had. Open that one up, and then my needle palm. And then over here was a really odd Washingtonia that just wouldn't grow, and I finally pulled it out and got rid of it because it just wasn't doing well at all, and I replaced it with one I grew from seed. And so that is this one, and it just took off last year in a big way. So I'm hoping when I open this one up, it will look good because it's growing really fast. It's actually kind of catching up with this one. And it's always fun when you have something that you grew from seed that is this big. And it made it through just fine. It's looking good. It's nice and tall. And it's even gonna get taller this year. It's just fun to think of that being a tiny little seedling in my house. And I'm glad it made it. And here is Charo, my Chihuahua Pomeranian mix. She was a rescue puppy who was in a really bad abusive situation in a Midianite puppy farm, and someone rescued her, and she's been a great dog. She's 15 and a half years old, but we're trying to enjoy her in her last few years here, but she's a great, great dog. Love her to death. So really the last things I have to open are my large Trachycarpus. And I'm going to just completely take them down, I think March 7th or 8th. And so I'm not gonna do that right now, just because it's not worth the trouble with the gigantic ladder bringing it over here. But they should be fine. But I'm going to take them, open them up completely in about a week and a half. Just like I said, I was going to end up in short sleeves by the end of the week, and I am there. It's so nice, and I even have one of my parrots out. This is the only one I let outside because she's big. She does not like to fly off. The other one does, but this is my Amazon parrot. So I hope you enjoyed today, and I'm going to try to get another video for next week before I take the big trackies out of their enclosure. And last thing, I'm going to show you some ice on the river from the beginning of the week, and then show you what the ice looks like right now, which is pretty amazing that much disappeared. And at the very, very end, you'll see that I link it to one of my other videos, because if this is the first time you're watching or you want to watch again because it's winter, I put my garden tour from September, which really shows how good the garden looks then, and very, very different from what you saw on this video today. So hopefully you will enjoy that. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and look at this ice here that's coming up.